My ex-fiancé of 17 years ended things with me 2 weeks ago. We've been together since we were basically teenagers, growing up into adulthood side by side, building a life that I genuinely thought would last forever. I always believed we would grow old together, like we were each other's permanent person in this life. Lately, I noticed he had been pulling away emotionally. He seemed distant, quieter, and harder to reach. But I honestly thought it was just stress from work and life weighing on him. I tried not to assume anything deeper, because I trusted that whatever we were going through, we would get through it together like we always had. But I was wrong. 2 weeks ago, he finally told me the truth, that he has been unhappy for a while, and over time he realized he doesn't love me anymore. He said it wasn't sudden for him, that he had been figuring it out internally for some time before he could say it out loud. And just like that, the life I thought I knew stopped being mine. 17 years means everything is intertwined. Every major memory I have as an adult has him in it. First jobs, moving homes, milestones, struggles, celebrations. He was always there. We didn't just date. We built a life, a rhythm, a shared existence that felt so normal I never questioned it. We also have a 6-year-old child together, and that changes everything even more. I can't fall apart completely, because she still needs stability, routine, and a sense that her world is safe. So I'm holding myself together in front of her as best as I can, even when I feel like I'm falling apart inside. The hardest part isn't just the breakup itself, it's what comes after. After she goes to bed, the house becomes painfully quiet. No background noise of shared life, no conversations in the kitchen, no presence of the person who used to feel like the center of everything familiar. That's when it hits me the most. The emptiness isn't just emotional, it's physical. It feels like the space he used to occupy is still there, just invisible, like my body hasn't caught up with reality yet. And in those moments, I feel completely alone with everything I'm trying not to feel during the day. The hardest contradiction is this. The one person I instinctively want to talk to about how I feel is no longer someone I can talk to in that way. He's made it clear he doesn't want me in his life anymore, except for communication about our child. So even though we still have to be connected in a practical sense, emotionally, I've lost access to him. And that loss is confusing in its own way, because he still exists in my life, just not in the way I need him to. So I end up sitting with everything alone, processing emotions I used to always share with him. I'm trying to keep life moving. Between work and parenting, I don't really get the space to fully break down during the day. I have to function. I have to show up. I have to be okay enough for my child, even when I don't feel okay at all. It feels like I'm grieving in layers. The relationship itself, the future I thought we had, the version of him I believed in, and the identity I had as us, all while also trying to suddenly become someone who exists outside of that shared life. Right now, I honestly feel like I've hit rock bottom. Not because I don't understand that things can change or that people can grow apart, but because I didn't see this ending coming in this form. He had already started emotionally stepping away before it ended, so it feels like he got a head start on grieving what we were. Meanwhile, I'm only just beginning. I know logically that this is still very early days. I know it's going to feel unbearable before it starts to feel lighter. But emotionally, it's hard to believe that right now. All I can do is take it moment by moment, even when some moments feel too heavy to carry. Time doesn't feel normal anymore. Days move forward, but my mind stays stuck in the same moment, when he said he didn't love me anymore. It replays in my head in different tones, different angles, like my brain is trying to find a version of it that hurts less, or makes more sense. But there isn't one. Even simple things feel strange now. Waking up in the morning feels like stepping into a life that doesn't fully belong to me yet, like I'm temporarily inside someone else's routine. The hardest part is how much of my life is still shaped like us. I still catch myself thinking in terms of two people, cooking for two, saving stories to tell him later. Almost saying something out loud just to realize there's no one on the other side waiting to hear it. It's not just missing him. It's missing the structure of having someone there consistently, for so long that it became instinct. Silence is different now. It's not peaceful, it's loud. At night, especially after my child is asleep. The silence feels like it has weight, like it fills every corner of the house that used to feel alive when he was here. Even background noises from outside feel sharper, like they're reminding me that life is still happening everywhere except inside my world right now. What makes this harder is that I still remember the version of him I built my life with. The one who stayed up late talking with me. The one who planned a future with me. The one who felt like my safest place for so many years. That version doesn't match the reality I'm living in now, and my brain keeps trying to reconcile the two. Like if I understand it enough, it won't hurt as much. My child notices more than I say. I try to keep things stable for her, keep routines normal, keep my tone light when I'm around her. I don't want her to feel the weight of what's happening between us. But there are moments when she looks at me longer than usual, like she can sense something has shifted even if she doesn't fully understand what. And that's when I feel the strongest need to hold myself together. There's a quiet guilt that comes with this kind of heartbreak. Guilt that I couldn't fix it. Guilt that I didn't see it sooner. Guilt that my child now has to grow up in a different version of life than the one I imagined for her. Even though I know relationships don't end because of one person, my mind still tries to find something I could have done differently. Sometimes I almost forget and reach for my phone like I used to, like I could still tell him about something small that happened during the day. A thought, a moment, something funny. And then I remember, and that moment of remembering feels like hitting the same wall over and over again. We still talk, but only about our child. It's polite, practical, short, but emotionally it feels like talking through glass. He's there, but not there. It's a strange kind of grief, having someone physically still exist in your life, but emotionally be gone from it. Nighttime is when everything catches up. During the day I can function. I can distract myself. I can move. But at night, there's nothing to run from it with. That's when the thoughts get louder. What we were. What I thought we would be. What I lost without realizing I was losing it. I always imagined growing old with him. It wasn't a dramatic fantasy. It was just a quiet assumption. The kind you don't question because it feels stable. Now I have to mentally rebuild an entire future I never planned for. Not just emotionally, but practically too. And that's overwhelming in a way I didn't expect grief to be. The strangest part is how life outside keeps going normally. People go to work, kids play, days pass like nothing happened. But inside me, everything feels paused at the moment it ended. It's like I'm watching life through a window instead of being inside it. I'm getting good at pretending, smiling when needed, answering messages normally, doing daily tasks. But it feels like I'm performing a version of myself that still works in the world, while another part of me is quietly falling apart when no one is looking. No matter how much I try to understand it, the reality stays the same. He doesn't love me anymore, and that is final in a way I can't negotiate with. There's no argument I can make that changes how someone feels inside. That acceptance hurts more than anything else. Right now, I feel like I'm standing in the aftermath of something I don't fully recognize yet. 17 years doesn't disappear overnight in the heart. It unravels slowly, painfully, in layers I didn't know existed. I'm grieving while still functioning, loving while letting go, remembering while trying not to get stuck in the past. And even though I feel completely broken in moments, I also know, somewhere under all of this, I'm still here. Still standing. Still showing up for my child. Still moving forward even when it feels impossible. I don't know how long it will take for this to hurt less, but I do know I'm still in it, and that has to be enough for now. Some days it doesn't hurt as sharply as before, not because I've moved on, but because my mind is slowly learning the shape of the absence. It still hurts when I think about him, but there are small gaps now, tiny moments where the pain doesn't completely take over everything else. I started noticing I can remember things without immediately falling apart. A song we used to listen to, a place we went together, a random memory that used to knock the air out of me. Now sometimes I just sit with it, quietly, let it exist without spiraling. It still stings, but it doesn't always destroy me anymore. Life didn't stop for my heartbreak. Work still needs to be done. My child still needs routines, laughter, meals, bedtime stories. And strangely, doing these things over and over again starts to create something steady under the chaos. Not happiness, not yet, but stability. We still communicate, but only about our child. At first it felt unbearable, like talking to a version of him that was only half there. Now it feels more like structure. Something necessary, but no longer emotionally charged in the same way. It's still strange, but it's becoming routine. One of the hardest shifts in perspective is understanding that he also grieved in his own way before it ended. Not in the same way I did, not in the same timing, but in silence, internally, before I even knew something was wrong. That doesn't make my pain smaller, but it explains the distance I didn't understand before. The house is still quiet at night, but it doesn't feel as sharp anymore. It's no longer a shock every time I notice his absence. It's more like a familiar quiet now. Sad, but not constantly overwhelming. Like my nervous system is slowly learning what after feels like. I didn't notice it at first, but I'm changing. Not into someone new overnight, but into someone who is slowly learning how to exist independently again. Making decisions without thinking as a pair, planning days differently, rebuilding small parts of identity I didn't realize were shared. It's uncomfortable, but it's happening. My child is the one thing that keeps everything grounded. Even on days when I feel emotionally exhausted, she brings me back into the present just by needing me. Loving her doesn't erase the pain, but it gives me direction when everything else feels directionless. One day, I realized something small. I went through a full day thinking about him and didn't cry. It didn't mean I was okay, but it meant the grief wasn't constantly overflowing anymore. It was the first time I understood that healing doesn't announce itself loudly. It just slowly stops hurting in the same way. Over time, 17 years doesn't disappear. It becomes part of you. But it doesn't have to define your entire future forever. Right now, I'm still in the middle of everything. Still adjusting, still grieving, still learning how to live in a life that looks different from what I once imagined. But I'm no longer just in the moment he left. I'm also in the moment after. And slowly, painfully, I'm starting to understand that after is not the end of me. It's just the beginning of something I don't fully recognize yet. But I'm still here, and I'm still going. There wasn't a dramatic moment where everything felt okay again. No sudden clarity. No big emotional breakthrough. Just slow days passing where the pain stopped being constant and started coming in waves instead. Some days are lighter, some days still hit hard out of nowhere. I stopped waiting for things to go back, because they don't. This is the new structure of life now. Different routines, different silences, different rhythms. At first, I kept comparing everything to the past. Now I'm slowly learning to stop doing that, because it only keeps me stuck. We've settled into co-parenting in a way that is functional, but emotionally distant. We coordinate for our child. We stay respectful. We keep things clear. It's not warm, but it's stable. And for now, stability matters more than anything else. One day I noticed something small. I wasn't waiting for him anymore. Not waiting for a message. Not waiting for a change of heart. Not waiting for things to suddenly go back to what they were. That quiet realization hurt, but it also felt like a release. My child has adapted in her own way. Kids don't process things like adults do, but they adjust to routines faster than we think. She still laughs, still plays, still asks questions about life in her own simple way. And I realize I've been stronger for her than I thought I could be. There are still memories of him that come up, but now they don't always collapse me. Sometimes I just feel them, acknowledge them, and let them pass. They are part of my history now, not a place I live in anymore. Acceptance didn't feel like peace. It felt more like neutrality, like finally understanding, this is what happened, this is what it is, and I can't change it anymore. And weirdly, that neutrality is what makes space for moving forward. I started doing small things for myself again. Not big transformations, just small reclaiming of identity. Things I like, routines that are mine, decisions that aren't tied to us. It's slow, but it's mine. I don't think he disappears from my mind completely. I don't think that's how long relationships work. But the thoughts are no longer sharp pain. They're softer now, more distant, more like remembering a chapter instead of living inside it. This isn't a story where everything becomes perfect again. It's a story where something ended after 17 years, and life still continued anyway. There is grief that doesn't fully vanish. There are memories that stay. There is a version of love that once existed and no longer does. But there is also survival. There is a child who still needs love and stability. There is a person learning how to exist again on her own terms. There is a life slowly rebuilding itself. Not as it was, but as it is becoming. And maybe that's the real ending. Not that it stopped hurting completely, but that it stopped being the only thing that exists. And I'm still here, still living, still becoming, still moving forward.